So I'm going to try this. Salamat pagi dan terima kasih untuk datang. So thank you very much for having us. As Pak Agus very kindly said, my name is Alicia, and I am the retail lead for Adobe in Southeast Asia. So what that means is that I have had the opportunity to work with many retailers and e-commerce providers like yourself, and really had the chance to watch how e-commerce has been transforming in Southeast Asia the past 2 years. And I'm very excited to be here in Indonesia right now because I think there is so much opportunity here for e-commerce. As I'm sure you all are already aware, you have some of the highest mobile penetration in the world. I usually point at Sylvie from Prima Solutions when I talk about this because I think she has 3 smartphones. But you have a mobile-first economy. You also have some of the highest social engagement across the world, from apps to networks to chats. So then, how do you figure out where this industry is so digitally connected, but solve the issues around payment gateways, where a large number of people don't have bank accounts or credit cards? And you have thousands of beautiful islands that make up Indonesia that make it very hard for you to deliver products to your customers. So very excited to be here today to talk about how we can help drive e-commerce forward in Indonesia. I don't speak very much Bahasa, that was a lot for me. So please, if I speak too fast, I will not be upset. Please just kindly tell me to slow down. And I would love to hear feedback from you as we talk through just some of the trends that we're seeing in retail and e-commerce. And hopefully this is helpful. So you may be wondering why the company that sells Photoshop is here to talk to you about digital marketing. Usually get this question. So Adobe's mission statement is to change the world through digital experiences. So we're a 30-year-old software company that has a legacy in creative and content. And over 5 years ago, many of our customers said, we're investing so much money and time and resources in creating beautiful content through Adobe's products. We want to know what happens, who's using our content, where does it go, how can we make it better? So Adobe saw a major opportunity to get into digital marketing, to help brands be able to start understanding, measuring, and optimizing experiences. So if you think about where we are, this is a graph to represent technology adoption. So I know it's a little bit hard to read, but in the back you have starting at 1900s, going all the way up to 2020. So you start with phone, electricity, and you see it takes quite a long time, right, for a lot of adoption to increase. Now all of a sudden you see things like a dishwasher, which takes a little longer, and you see VCR, which goes up, down, and you see cell phones and smartphones that have just taken off. Right? So technology is rapidly evolving. This makes your challenge as a retailer pretty difficult. So you have to figure out, given this constant increase of technology and channels, how do I continue to increase revenue per customer? Know who my customers are. They're going across many different devices and channels. How do I know who they are? Continuing to kind of figure out how to increase conversions and transactions. How do I effectively spend my marketing dollars better? How do I improve the need for digital marketing? I need to figure out how to improve customer loyalty. The number one thing most e-commerce companies talk to me about in Indonesia is acquiring more customers. I need to get more customers to my site and get them to buy more. Once you spend all this time and money getting them there, how do you get them to keep coming back and spending more, right? Figuring out how to capitalize on social media opportunities. There's so much opportunity, so much engagement. And then continuing to meet the mobile expectations of your customers. So we asked consumers in the US, what makes them want to buy online from an e-commerce site? And I know this is US, but I think it's still quite relevant for Indonesia. And the number one thing was the ability to buy online and then make returns at the store. So this is a little scary for pure e-commerce players, right? The benefit is you have the ability to push a coupon or promotion to smartphone. But a lot of these are a little bit of a challenge for traditional e-commerce players. And I want to show, I have a picture of it, I don't have it on here, but I want to show this picture for you. I don't know if you can see this, but this is actually a brick and mortar store for Zalora. It just opened, It just opened in Singapore, I think last week. So this is a really big example of your traditional e-commerce player that is now stepping into brick and mortar as well. And I have my friend who works at Zalora told me that you can't actually buy in the store, but you can go in and try on the clothes, feel it, try on different sizes, but you actually have to purchase online. And I think you can actually return in that store, but you can't buy there. But it's a pretty interesting shift, right? And I think that that's something we're going to continue to see is consumers want to be able to have that experience everywhere. So when asking marketers, what's the number one thing that they're focusing on? It's around personalization, right? How do I figure out how to engage my customers, know who they are, and talk to them at the right moment, the right time, the right offer? But this is a lot harder than it sounds, right? The retail landscape is very, very complicated. You have offline stores, you have computers, you have different devices. So how do you then be able to understand where these people are, what stage they're at in the buying process, and get them that right offer in the right moment? We are in a data store, right? I have yet to meet a customer that says, can I please have more data? I need more data. There's too much data, right? This is just, 34,000 tweets are sent every minute. You're tweeting right now. 2 billion videos were watched on YouTube yesterday. There's just so much data. So how do you then collect all of this data and have one single sense of it? It's a source of truth to then be able to capitalize and understand and then get the right message out to your customer. This is going to continue to get worse. These numbers are going to keep getting worse. So we've already seen, I've spoken to a couple different retailers in Southeast Asia that are launching iBeacons. It's coming, it's already coming, it's the process. Google Glass has been very slow to get adoption, but I think it's going to continue to drive forward. This is a new technology, I forget the name of it, but it basically creates augmented reality all around you. So I might have something and it'll show a device in my hand, but all of you can see it as well. The interactive e-commerce or the interactive shopping experience where you can see how things look when you're actually in the store on a mirror. This one's been around for quite a while, but you go to like a vending machine in the train stations, you type what you need, you hit what you need, pay for it, and by the time you get home, your groceries are already there ready for you to make dinner. And then of course the ever popular computer that on Jeopardy! Right, that competed against the two top guys on Jeopardy, that was able to just read Wikipedia overnight, and then was able to compete and won by a landslide. So there's going to continue to be more and more data and more challenges for you as e-commerce providers. So some of the predictions that Adobe has made is that Indonesia and India metros will lead innovation in personalization and optimized experiences. You have to. Right? You really have to, because of the way that Indonesia is set up and how vast your territory is, you have to innovate. It's going to continue to be fragmented on different devices and platforms. There's going to be a lot of people coming to the market. They see the opportunity in Indonesia. Some will do really well, and some will fail, and some might get acquired. But there's got to be more flexible payment methods, both digital and at point of sale, between wallets, credit cards, digital exchange. And someone will innovate this supply chain and you can't really see that part, but someone will innovate this supply chain and logistics piece. Someone will figure that out and just completely take over. And also iBeacons are going to be a big deal. But the challenges that you're going to continue to see are around models that scale outside of these urban environments and decreasing mobile and broadband logistics. The payment system is going to continue to be a challenge. Also the technology, solving for this big data to connect to these consumers across the different devices. And the external competition, whether it's Alibaba, Amazon, Taobao, or Mindshare. So at Adobe, we talk about three things. It's people, process, and technology. And I actually think technology should be the third one. You can have the best e-commerce technology in the world, but if you don't have the right people in place to be able to market this e-commerce site, to be able to make sense of what's happening on your e-commerce site, and the right processes in place to be able to get your strategy on how you want to go to market, on how you're going to drive forward. And if you're not able to compare yourself against how others are doing in the market and how others are doing across the region, it doesn't really mean much. So you really have to have all three components when you think about driving yourself forward in digital. And more than anything, you have to take a leap of faith, right? Digital is a scary, scary thing. It's changing so rapidly that you are going to have to continue to figure out how to be a bit agile and creative with your business and figure out what's going to happen next. So I'm going to pass this over to my colleague Vanita, who is going to talk about Adobe, because most people don't think about Adobe being an e-commerce company, right? But Adobe, within about, I think it was two to 3 years, became a $2 billion website. You used to not be able to buy anything, $2 billion US, not rupiah. You used to not be able to buy anything from Adobe.com, and within 2 years, it became a $2 billion website, and I think I heard this year it's going to be $3 billion US. So just to talk about how quickly our company has transformed and changed, I'll give it to my colleague Vanita.
So that much.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Alicia. Hello, everyone. Very good morning. My name is Vanita. I am a senior solutions consultant for the Adobe Digital Marketing Solutions. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules and joining us here today. I hope you all are as excited as we are presenting this session to you. And welcome once again. So this session is about me trying to share with you all how we are using our own digital marketing solutions to run our marketing engines. So how Adobe is using Adobe Digital Marketing to run all their online business, all their e-commerce business and stuff like that. I'm going to start off with a little fact, which is that 70% of Adobe's marketing spend is on digital. It's been pretty much the same for the last 3 to 5 years. For the last 3 to 5 years, we've seen that close to 74-75% of our marketing spend is on the digital solutions, the digital technology. And it has to be like that, right? I mean, we're talking about enterprise class solutions. We're not talking about Photoshop. We're not talking about PDF. We're talking about enterprise class solutions that help you do a lot of optimization and refining of your website. So we are happy to do that, and we are already spending 74% of our marketing budget on digital technology. What it gives us in return is it allows us to measure where our marketing dollars are being spent, how they are being spent, what they are being spent on, and also give us an insight into what are the returns or what is the value that we are generating out of that investment that we are making into our marketing efforts. What's different about digital? Everything is different about digital. But like Alicia mentioned earlier, we still rely on the 3 key pillars that any organization does. It's the people, it's the process, and it's the technology. We use the 3 key pillars, but we use them with a huge twist. Adobe has been the pioneer of creative solutions. So we already have the creative people. We've had the creative mindset. We've had the creative gene pool from the beginning. What we're doing now is we're bringing in the nerds. We are bringing in the people who can add science to the art of marketing. The data scientists, the data analysts, the statisticians, who can make sense of the data. So that's how we are twisting the people aspect of our business And then it's process. The process that we use as far as marketing goes in Adobe, it's an always on marketing, which means we are always functioning, we are always running, we are always testing, refining, iterating what we want to present to our customers the next time they are online with us. Even when people call it a day and they go home and they take their sleep and come back in the morning, the marketing engine is continuously running to test new offers, to test new personalization, and make them more and more optimized and effective for the future. So that's really an always on marketing sort of scenario that we use. As for the technology, yes, we eat our own bread and we drink our own wine, which means we use our own solutions to run our digital marketing activities on a day-to-day basis. Let me give you an example. Adobe created CMO.com a while back. It basically is a place where executives can come and they can curate news from all over the web, as well as they can create news. Soon as CMO.com was launched, there was a new requirement. And I'm sure all of you will agree with me, business always comes up with new requirements. No matter what you give them, the minute you give it to them, they have 10 new things that they want. So they come up with a requirement whereby they want to broaden the user base, which means they want to extend the reach of CMO.com by expanding to the newer channels. So CMO.com, only website, only desktop, but now we want more and more users to use it, and we want to extend it to new channels like mobile web, mobile apps. You will also agree with me that when business comes to you with a requirement, most of you will hear two things. I don't have budget, and you don't have headcount. So there is no headcount for this new initiative, there is no new money for this new initiative, but I want this thing to be done, which is, broaden my user base, expand to the new channels. So how do we do this? Obviously, we have to deliver. So enter Adobe Experience Manager. Adobe Experience Manager is our content management solution, which allows us to create very efficient, effective, and beautiful content that can be published on the website. So we used Adobe Experience Manager for all our content design for our CMO website. Now we complement this solution with DPS, which is our digital publishing suite. And we use the same content that is created in AEM to publish to alternate channels. And the alternate channels are the mobile web and the mobile app. So it essentially is taking two Adobe technologies, putting them together, where Adobe Experience Manager becomes a central repository of all our content, which can be leveraged, which can be reused across different channels. And now we enable different channels that can be used to access the same CMO.com that we launched earlier for the desktops. Done. So that was step one. Step two, we started using Adobe Analytics. Once you have all this beautiful content that is out on the website, you want to know how the content is being used, who is accessing it, what devices they are using to access it, what locations they are coming in from. Is it Singapore only? Is it Southeast Asia only? Are people looking at CMO.com worldwide? So analytics helps us get all that insight of how the content is being utilized. We also use Adobe Campaign, which is our outbound cross-channel marketing solution. So there are people who have signed up for newsletters. There are people who have signed up for event invites. So whenever CMO.com is having an event, please invite me to your event. Or your monthly newsletters, I want to subscribe to them. So we use Adobe Campaign to send out personalized event invites and send out newsletters to all the people who have subscribed for these services. Again, using our own solution. Obviously, people start sharing the information. So there is a lot of content which is really nice to read, it's very informative, it's very effective, and people want to share it. People want to learn from each other. We all are here today to learn from each other. So when people start sharing this content, we also want to know how it is being shared. on what platforms it is being shared. Is it effective on Facebook or Twitter? Is it more effective on LinkedIn? Because this is CMO, this is more professional. Do people put it on Facebook or do they put it on pages? So we start measuring things like how content is being shared, what platforms is it leveraging, as well as things like what kind of sentiment it is generating. Do people like it? Do people not like it? And obviously, once you've done all of that, you have put the content online, you have measured the effectiveness of your content, you want to refine it further. So that's the next step, right? I mean, all the effort into creating, delivering, executing content on the website. In return, what you want to do is, when you're measuring, you want to measure the effectiveness and you want to refine what you're doing further. So the next time I publish my content, how do I make it more effective? How do I make it more personalized to a person rather than a group of people? So that's what we do with Adobe Target. We actually look at the previous experiences that people are having, the previous sentiments that are being generated from our content, and we try to make it even more personalized going forward. How's it so far? So far, so good? Okay, I'm glad it's good because this is only the tip of the iceberg. I haven't even started on adobe.com. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to talk about the secret curry sauce of how adobe.com functions and how, without giving away the secrets, I'm only giving you some ingredients, not the recipe. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how we do this, all of this, on our online website. Once upon a time, so I'm going to tell you a little story, because this sounds like really, really long back, 1997. Oh, I was probably just out of university or still in university. Okay. Anyway, so once upon a time, in 1997, internet went big, and we launched our website. Adobe launched its website. The website was not great. It was just a bunch of static web pages. And that's what we called our website. But we were happy that we had it. 2001, we launched e-commerce on our website, which was a big step because we really wanted to grow our creative business, and we wanted to push people to more and more self-servicing channels rather than having to go to a retailer or go to Adobe to buy their products. Come 2013, today, actually not today, a year back, this data is still a little old, it's 2013. We have Adobe in over 62 countries, localized in over 32 languages. And anywhere, no matter where you come from, you get the same Adobe experience. The conversion rate, if you look at it, it has gone from just being 2.3% in 2009 to over 6% in 2013, and even higher in 2014.
What are your conversion rates on your website?
Okay, that's a sensitive question. Yeah. We have over 75 million unique visitors that come onto our website every week. Of the 75 million, half the visitors that are coming in only to browse some products or to look for some support or to find a retailer where they can go and buy some products. But half of them are coming in to either sign up or register for a new product or to download a new product, like our players, our readers, sign for a trial version. And these visitors are huge, and they're a huge target for us because these are all the creative people who are looking for new creative solutions. So that's how we look after our visitors. Again, we are using all our solutions, and I'm not going to go through each one of them like I did in CMO.com. I'm just going to give you some examples of how we are using them as I progress onto the presentation. But again, Adobe Experience Manager has been the foundation of our content. It has changed the way people look at an online version of what Adobe is. So it really is the foundation of our content. And then obviously we have plugged in different solutions to measure the effectiveness of that campaign, to leverage the conversation that we are having with people on the online channels through the external, through the outbound channels like email, SMS, mobile push, social push, and creating a sort of 360-degree view of a customer or a visitor who's coming onto the website. So I'm going to do this again. Once upon a time, and you'll hear this 3 more times, I promise. So once upon a time, when we started this, Adobe.com was nothing but static pages. So we were using our own technology. We were using Dreamweaver. We created some static pages, and we were happy that we had a website. It didn't take us very long to create over 100,000 pages. And when you have 100,000 static pages, it becomes really difficult to manage that content manually. That's when we decided to go into the market and look for an effective content management solution. And we started, as any other customer in the market would do, we went and looked for options, we evaluated solutions. We wanted to find something which is easy to use, comprehensive. It makes our life easy on a day-to-day basis, eliminates all the manual things that we have to do. And came across this great solution called idEA Software and CQ. We went ahead and, everything is experimental. We took the first step. We did an experiment. We revamped our intranet using idEA CQ. The users who used to manage the content on the intranet were so happy with the performance of Experience, which is now Experience Manager, that within no time we were convinced that that is the way to go. We not only revamped the entire Adobe website using Experience Manager, we went ahead and we bought the company. So it is so good. How can you let go of things? How often do you come across things that you say, wow, I want it? So we went ahead, we implemented the solution on our website, and then we went ahead and bought the company. Fast forward today, Adobe.com is the 63rd most popular internet website across the world. It has over 600 million visitors on a monthly basis. And not just that, we are the leaders in the market for our experience management solutions as well as our digital marketing technology. So, all ended well, and we are quite happy with how it happened. So we use our solutions, big deal. Really. But I want to emphasize that these solutions have given us enormous benefit. There are business benefits that people have quantified, tangible, intangible benefits that we've achieved over a period of 3 to 5 years. And some of these business benefits are in terms of the operational efficiency. Experience Manager has become a single platform that our marketing users are using today to create, test, and publish content. They are able to self-service them. They have minimized the need of IT that is required to do content management on the website on the day-to-day basis. Having said that, IT is not irrelevant to us. IT is still managing the overall platform of Adobe Marketing Cloud. But as far as the day-to-day marketing activities go, as far as the day-to-day management of the website, refinement of the website, optimization of the content goes, the marketers are able to do it themselves. So it's a lot of middle people that are eliminated. It's a lot of self-service, which ensures that we are able to rotate content really fast. We are able to change experience really fast for an end user. So that's a big business benefit for us. The next is brand consistency, which I think is important to any business, to any organization. No matter where I come to Adobe.com from, I should get the same experience. Now we have over 400 authors who are creating content worldwide for our 62 websites in 32 localized languages. But the end user doesn't care about it, and they don't have to. The end user gets the same Adobe experience whether they log in from Japan or the US. The content is personal, the content is relevant, the content is contextual to what they have been doing with us in the past and what they have been doing with us in this session. So we've been able to achieve a huge benefit of managing the brand consistency of adobe.com using these solutions. So yeah, I mean, we are using our solutions and we have realized some business benefits that we think are very, very important for any organization. Okay, once upon a time, it was only internet. Nobody cared about, nobody knew about mobile. Even we didn't know about mobile. And mobile was not as big in 2009 as it is today. And Alicia shared a graph earlier, which which says that it just went boom, and we were left with very little time. We were left with very little leeway to catch up with the technology. When we came up with the website, it wasn't responsive. Responsive was not on our radar. But with the boom in all these smart devices, the smart channels, I mean, for me personally, I don't even like but I have 2 iPhones, 2 iPads, 2 MacBooks at home, just for me. So all these smart devices and the new channels, the social media, makes you reconsider, makes you rethink what you've been doing in the past. And the past was just 3 years back, not really long back, So responsive was not on the radar when we launched it, but looking at how the world is changing, we decided to change ourselves, and this was very quick. So we decided to experiment again. So we take baby steps. We start with one and we then start walking and running. So it's crawl, walk, run. We picked up a particular area on our website, which is our education section. And analytics told us that people coming into the education section using their mobile phones usually drop off. They are not able to get the content that they are looking for, or it is not responsive enough. There is a lot of scrolling. There is a lot of content which is spread over. But they are just dropping off. They are falling out. They are not sticking with us. So we picked up this particular area and we decided to make it responsive. And now when you're working with mobile, there is a big challenge. You are restricted by the space that you have. It's not as big as a desktop. It is really small. And you have to be very creative to make sure that you prioritize the content, make it more relevant, make it more effective in terms of where you want to place what, how easily it should be accessible to the people. So we started doing all our responsive stuff, and we revamped our education section to be accessible through mobile. And this was, again, the content that was created in Adobe Experience Manager, which was reused to publish onto our newer channels or smart channels. Once that was live, what we saw was there was a 130% increase in the amount of time people came and spent time on that section of the website. It was a no-brainer, right? I mean, when you see those kind of results, you obviously want to leverage them further. So we went and revamped the entire adobe.com and made it responsive. So now you can access it today. You can access it across various devices, mobile apps, mobile websites, as well as your traditional desktop channels. That's how we moved one step further in technology, and we went ahead and did responsive stuff for our online presence. In Adobe, we have a team called the Marketing Insights team, and this is what the Marketing Insights team does on a day-to-day basis. Starting from 9 in the morning, going on till 4 in the evening. This is what they do every day. Probably not readable, but I'll summarize this for you. They help us create a single repository of truth. They help us look at analytics, social. They help us look at the traffic that is coming in, dashboards, and create a single repository for every customer visitor that has come onto the website and accessed our website. They enable us to continuously test and refine our content based on the insights that have been collected on a day-to-day basis. But the most important thing they do is on a day-to-day basis, they have 3 key takeaways for us. These three key takeaways translate into business actions. They translate into technology actions. They translate into how we will further optimize our online experience to our online existence to give a better experience to our people. So that's the whole lot of effort that is going on every day to make sure that we are giving to our customers what they pay for, which is an exceptional experience. Since I'm talking about optimization, I'll go back and talk about the philosophy of rinse and repeat, which is test and repeat, test and iterate, test and refine, and achieve optimization as far as you can. Over the last 3 to 5 years, again, we have come up with an optimization framework, and we try to optimize in 4 key areas. It's the layouts, the content, the functionality, and the creative. I think this is 9. So there are 4 key areas that we use as a framework to test our optimization efforts. And these 4 key areas are then divided into 2 tiers. Well, 3 tiers, but 1 and 2 is in the same category. So the optimization framework has 4 key areas that we focus on. The 4 key areas are divided into 2 tiers. The first tier is where you put in a lot of effort, but the impact is huge. And the second tier is where you do very small little things, small tweaks, small changes, small testing, and you see a lot of small benefits. Small efficiency increase, small effectiveness increase. So there is 1 and 2 that you would want to split into, and we do everything within these 2 tiers and the 4 key areas of our framework. Now here's a quiz. This is my favorite part. So this is a marketing event we were conducting a few months back. And marketing events, call to action, there is always a link that says register now or inquire now, and we were quite excited about this marketing event. What we did was we tested 2 creatives. We had a control creative, which had just about a link. Okay. We had a control creative that just had a link which says, inquire more or register here. And then there was a challenger which had a button, so the little yellow thing that you see there. So instead of just the link, there is a button which says the same thing. It says register now. And this is a small test that we did. It's only content. Who do you think won? Yeah. Yes. We saw a 5.3% lift in the number of registrations just because of the different creative that we used there. So just because of that button, it probably resonates more with the people, and they want to click on that button, and they don't want to click on a link or a URL, and they want to go and register for the event. They're probably going to see the same thing. There was this another one that we did for our creatives. So there is a white paper download section on our website. People go there, people read about stuff, see a summary, and then they decide whether they want to download the whole white paper or not. We have 2 creatives for that. There is one which is very smart. It is the control creative. It has a smart guy sitting with a smart device looking at some content. Mm-hmm. And the one on the right side is One on the right side is a boring little creative which has a newspaper on it. So there are 2 creatives that we tested. Who do you think won here? Well, my money is that will win. Smart guy looking at a smart device, very new age stuff. So I thought that one is the one that should win. But surprise, surprise. People like the newspaper. Because it's a white paper, people like to see the white paper. So the challenger here actually won. And we saw a 65% lift in the number of white papers that were downloaded just with this creative. Our digital marketing homepage. So there are 2 different layouts, and this is where We have a layout which is very generic. People come onto the digital marketing homepage. They want to see things that are happening in the digital marketing world. And then there is another layout which is personalized based on the persona of the people who are coming in. So it is personalized based on the search keyword they use to come onto the website, based on the location they're coming in from, based on any such temporal variable that you can capture when a visitor is coming onto the website. So there is a more personalized version of the homepage, as well as a generic version. And this is a no-brainer, right?
Yeah.
So the personalized version one, of course, people like to see things that are more relevant to them, rather than having to go to home, search, product, marketing, analytics, white paper, software, trial. I don't want to do all that. I just want to see, okay, if I searched for analytics trial account, I should land on a page that gives me a 30-day analytics trial account on Adobe. So that's how we did our homepage layout. And this was a massive effort, but it gave us massive benefits as well. We do the same thing for our emails. So the outbound communication that is going out to the customers, instead of always saying, Mr., please come to our event. I probably am not a Mr. Okay, so people become smart. They don't write Mr. or Miss. They like, dear.
Yes.
Dear, please come to our event. We are having a symposium in Singapore. Please come. Okay. But the dear also doesn't resonate with our generation. Our generation needs even more personalized. Dear Miss Vinita, we know you will be in Singapore on this date, and we have this thing happening. We know this is relevant to your industry, which is the IT and software industry. So please come and join us. So that's what we do with our email marketing. When we are sending out our email campaigns to our customers for our events, for our new product launches, we personalize the content. We personalize the content with the industry they are in, with their names, with what they currently have. And that's why we think what will be relevant to them going forward. So we're doing the same thing with our email marketing. And this is the last time I'll say this. Once upon a time, we thought one size fits all. And no matter where a person came from, we gave them the same experience, which was by Creative Cloud. Okay? But things are very different from once upon a time to what it is today. Today, when someone comes to our website, we know that they are a free user, they haven't downloaded anything from us, and we give them try out our Creative Cloud experience. We want to encourage them to try our products. If a visitor comes to us who has a trial account, who has probably downloaded 10 different trial products from us, we know that they are exploring something. So we give them a different experience, which is talking about tips and tricks, which is talking about see what more you can try out and things like that. If there is a person we know already has a product, or is a person whose trial account is about to expire, we give them a very personalized experience again. We either tell them to register for this offer at a discount, and because your trial expires in 5 days, if you register now, you get $10 off. So we do things like that. Or if we know somebody who is a very loyal customer of ours, who's been using our Photoshop solution for a long time, we give them special offers continuously to make them stick with us for as long as they can, they want to. Rather, we want to. So we have 3 front doors to 3 of our key solution areas, which is our 3 home pages. We have a front door to our Creative Cloud segment, which if you are coming in looking for any of the creative solutions is where you will land. We have similar personalized front door to our digital marketing segment and our Acrobat segment. So that's how we ensure personalization as at step 1 of when you come to adobe.com. This is step 1. You're just coming onto the home page, but instead of landing on the Acrobat page, you land on digital marketing, or instead of landing on digital marketing, you land on Creative Cloud, depending on who you are as a visitor to us. We take it a step further when you're browsing the products. So this is where I talked about earlier. When you're looking at the products, we know if you're a new member, if you're an existing member, if you have a trial account that is expiring, if you've done so many downloads from us that we think you are a Photoshop guru, and we want to invite you for a competition that is happening at a worldwide level, a Canon running marathon photograph or something like that. So we look at who you are, and then we personalize every step of the way that you are trying to access our website. And that's how we are trying to engage our customers through every step of the way that they are accessing our online website. What we have achieved, and besides the intangible benefits that I talked about earlier, which is minimizing our dependency on IT, making marketing more and more self-serving, reducing the turnaround time to push out content on the website. These are some of the tangible benefits that we've achieved. We've consolidated over 20 data sources into a single repository of truth. So we have a single data source that gives us everything that we need to know about every visitor or member or customer who's come onto our website. The total data that we've already ingested and aggregated is over 6 terabytes, and that's a huge amount of data if you're trying to personalize the experience for each and every customer if you don't have a technology like the stack that we use. And the conversion, which I think is the most important one, because every one of us is at the end of the day talking about sales, conversion, returns on investment. So we have seen a 200% lift in conversions from our targeted and personalized marketing efforts. So these are some of the personalization drivers that we see we've achieved over the last few weeks. And how am I doing? How I'm doing? Do I have some time? Okay. So I was gonna end here, but there is a very new solution, not really new. It's close to a year old now, but you can't see it here. Adobe Campaign, which is our latest acquisition into the digital marketing world. And I want to talk a little bit specifically about Adobe Campaign. So at Adobe, we used to use a combination of ExactTarget and Eloqua to do our outbound marketing. But again, we like to try new things, and we like to try and buy new things. So we went and we tried Neolane, and we went and we bought Neolane, which was a year back. And now we use Neolane, which is now Adobe Campaign, to run all our outbound cross-channel marketing efforts. We are running over 450 batch and blast, as well as triggered marketing campaigns on a day-to-day basis. We are running. We are actually shooting out over 1 billion emails every year to our customers, and each and every one of these emails is personalized. It's not a generic email that will say, "Dear Mister, come to our event." It's a personalized email. So we are using our Adobe Campaign Management solution to do all of that. To give you an example, Batch and Blast, it really is a new product, something which we think is going to be relevant to a customer segment, the student segment, studying at so-and-so university between age group so-and-so. This particular product will be relevant for them. So we do a blast campaign to a segment of our customers. What we do next is we also do a whole lot of personalized campaigns. So these are more one-on-one communications. So if somebody downloaded a particular white paper, which means probably they are interested in our product, our solution, our technology, or they signed up for a trial version of Photoshop. So we follow that download up with how to use that particular solution. So if you downloaded Photoshop from me, I'll send you a video in an email which will say, see how you can use it, see how you can how you can install it. Here are 5 top tricks for you to use the solution more effectively. I will follow that up with more tips and tricks till I send you an email saying that, okay, your trial version is about to expire. Do you want to sign up? And this is a special offer for you. So we do a very personalized one-on-one emails as well. We do a whole lot of nurturing. So it's not just about selling. The industry is all about servicing. So it's only when you service your customers can you bring them back. Selling is done. I think selling today is easy. Retaining the customers, bringing them back is the more difficult part. And believe me, if your organization is really good at servicing your customers, you won't even have to call your customers back. They'll come knocking at your doors. So we do a whole lot of servicing emails, just sharing with our customer base, sharing with our member base what are the trends in the industry, sending them newsletters, the industry trends. There are these events that are happening across the world. You might want to catch this webinar which we think is relevant to your industry. So a whole lot of nurturing and servicing messages that go out as well, and again we use Campaign to run all of these messages. We use Campaign to do our live events. So this was a really good thing, a really good example of this was if any of you attended our symposium in Singapore this year. While our people were engaging with us in our conference, they were receiving personalized emails, which were being run at that time and giving them information. So even me, I was registered as a customer over there, and I got an email saying, "Dear Ms. Vinita, we are very happy to have you with us today. Thank you so much for your time. Do you know there are 52 more executives who have the same job title as you, who are from the same industry as you, la 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 la. The weather in Singapore is going to be sunny. We know your flight is at this time. The weather in Australia is going to be where." So there was this whole lot of personalized email that went to our customers while they were sitting with us attending that event. So not just that, we do things like help them register, confirm their registrations, invite them for the future events and things, and all of this again is being done by our outbound marketing. Some results which is I think quite relevant. So what we see is an 11% increase in automation, which is saving us a lot of time. So what we used to do in over an hour, 10 minutes, using the previous technologies that I talked about, we now do it in 15 minutes, 20 minutes. We look at triggers that have happened and people receive emails within 10 minutes, within 15 minutes of what they have been doing on the website. So we've optimized our email marketing engine and our outbound cross-channel marketing engine using our own technology. That's all I had to share today. Thank you so much once again. There is a few more interesting sessions coming up. We have a coffee break. We have some coffee and some snacks and refreshments. Please come back, join us. There's a really interesting story that Rakuten is going to share with us just after. See you. Thank you.
Good morning. How do I say good morning in Indonesian? Selamat pagi. Say again. Selamat pagi. Selamat pagi. Okay. I will do my best. My name is Koji Suzuki. I came from a company called Rakuten. Just for my curiosity, how many of you know us, Rakuten?
You asked the...
Better than my expectation. What do you think, Jake? Better than my expectation. And how many of you have used our service, e-commerce? Okay. Today, maybe spending next 45 minutes, myself and my colleague, Ayani, and we'll be talking about Rakuten's delivering, how we are delivering data-driven hospitality. Benita earlier, she mentioned about personalization further, and I think we are talking about exactly the same thing. When I say hospitality, how we deliver our services in person to all of our Rakuten customers. Okay?
Down. That's bottom.
So Indonesia and I came from Japan. We have things in common, right? We both are archipelago. Do you know how many islands we have in Indonesia? Anyone can guess? 17,000, right? Yes. I googled it. You have 17,000 islands in Indonesia. Do you know how many islands we have in Japan? We have about 7,000 islands in Japan. So, I mean, you beat us. But still, we have a lot. Okay? Large population. Indonesia, so China being first. India, second. Third, US. Fourth,
Indonesia.
that's right. And Japan is, right now, is at 10th. But we still have a lot of people. Okay. And since Alicia mentioned earlier, Indonesia, Japan, we are both mobile and social network savvy. A lot of people use mobile devices, and many of them are engaged with social network. And last but not least, you speak Japanese.
This is good.
Japanese. Right.
This is good.
Okay. Right. Now, today, maybe I'd like to talk about cover four things. And start with about myself. My name is Toji Suzuki, as I mentioned, and I'm heading the data-driven marketing at Rakuten. And I've been working for digital marketing career for more than 15 years. And I lived in the US, UK, and in fact, back in 2008, I was living in just your next country, neighboring Singapore for 3 years. And I joined Rakuten about 2 years ago. So it's been 2 years since I started working for Rakuten. And I'm a father of a little girl and a little boy. And I used to be on the solo side. If I talk about this, I could spend 2 days. So don't want me to be talking about the birth. Maybe I thought. So why did I join Rakuten? 2 things. Because I spent so much, maybe half of my lifetime living outside Japan. So when the earthquake hit Japan, I was actually not living in Japan. So I felt really, really bad being a Japanese, and I couldn't really help. I felt like myself being helpless. So since then, I started to have this desire. I want to do something to help Japanese society. Right. And then, of course, how many of you have been to Japan? Anyone? Yeah? You like it?
Yeah.
You hate it?
Good food.
Good food. Right. So being a Japanese, and especially, I will cover this in later slides. There are something, especially the hospitality, personalized user experience, which I think we can provide from Japanese cultural experience. Okay? So Rakuten overview. By the way, if you have any questions, please do so at the end of the presentation. I will spare some time to have more questions. Okay? So when I talk about Rakuten, there are 3 things I would like to cover. 1 is the scale, 2 is diversity, and lastly, Ayane will talk about globalization. So let me start with the scale. Explain Rakuten, there are 4 figures. Can you guess what it is? Starting with 50. Anyone?
Countries?
50 billion US dollars. That's the annual transactional volume. That's amount of money we have transacted over our digital space a year. 93 years. 93% of Japanese internet users penetrate. So out of 100 internet people, 93 people use Rakuten. 1 is the number of customers or members. So Rakuten, you need to register to become our customers. And this is the amount of customers or registered customers we have in our database. By the way, this is just Japan domestic number. If we include overseas, we have about 500 million customers. That's
A lot.
yeah, a lot.
That's a lot.
That explains. 42, this is my favorite. You will have a big, big prize if you can get this right.
Business units.
Rakuten, e-commerce, we sell a lot of food, a lot of noodles. If you combine it, take out the package, stick all the noodles together, piece by piece, you can actually wrap around the earth 42 times. That's the amount of noodles we sell in Rakuten. Obviously, Japanese people do eat a lot of ramen, right? Okay? So you now understand the scale of Rakuten, right? Yeah? So diversity. Because Rakuten has a diversity of businesses, it's not just the e-commerce. We have many others. So to give you a better understanding of Rakuten businesses and diversity, this is what I prepared for. You know this company?
I know.
Right. You don't have to name it, but you know this? Okay? Okay? Simple. This, that. Yes? I'm not sure if you Indonesian people watch baseball, but imagine if there's a company who does all of these and having a loyalty program in the middle, connected all of the services. And that's actually Rakuten. So we have e-commerce, e-travel, auction, e-book, chat apps, video on demand, professional based hosting, search engine, life insurance, security, mobile payment, credit card banking, and to name a few. We have 70 services minimum and increasing the number. And by the way, we have just opened a brick and mortar. We call it Rakuten Cafe. You can actually go and eat all the sweets and food, which you can buy from Rakuten e-commerce. Okay? So now you understand Rakuten is not just the e-commerce, but banking, finance, media services, content services, many others. So there are diversity of all those businesses which we have. Okay. Now she will cover the global bit.
Hello, I am Ayane. I work with Koji in Tokyo. If you have trouble listening to my English, please say. I'm from New Zealand, so maybe I have a slightly different accent, so please put up your hand if I'm talking too fast or too weird. So I belong in Koji's data-driven marketing team, and I mainly look after the global e-commerce that Rakuten owns. So currently Rakuten, we're going global, we're all about globalization, and we are expanding our e-commerce into, I think now currently over 14 countries. So I want to talk about sort of what and how we support our global businesses. So our main headquarters is in Tokyo, in Japan, and all our other global e-commerces are dispersed worldwide, and they are roughly in the Asian region. We also have many e-commerce in the Europe region and the American region. And these are just some of the businesses we have. So we do have many e-commerce, so mostly e-commerce, but we do have other services and businesses that are not e-commerce. So we have things like what you mentioned before, like Kobo, ebooks, Viki, video on demand. We've also acquired Viber recently. So I support the e-commerce here, and I just want to sort of briefly describe what I do to help support our global e-commerce companies in Rakuten. So first, I support the sort of the simplification of implementation. So I think Alicia and Benita were saying before, all our businesses want more and more data, but they have no resources, they have no budget. So this is where our team comes in to support. We help them sort of filter out the important KPIs, and based on those KPIs, we help them customize their codes or other analytical tools so they can acquire the important KPIs and data they need. We also help them with the standardization and automation of reporting. So because we have many e-commerce global worldwide, we sort of want to look at a single report so we can compare and see any similarities or differences between our different regions or different countries, and we try and think up of different strategies suitable for our different countries. And we also help with the automation of reporting because we find that a lot of the time not many people are very used to automation. So we help them sort of customize the Excels or help them use things like Report Builder so they can cut down their costs and time they spend on reporting so they can do more important things like thinking about strategies to optimize their genius. We also help them with A/B testing. So we help them decide on hypotheses and sort of testing designs, and we help them develop their back end if it is needed. So the front end business people like the marketing teams and the creative team can just focus on doing what they need to do. And we also try to help them sort of do their A/B testing in a cycle, in a plan do the idEA cycle. So they don't just end with one test. Based on the one test, we want them to do more tests to keep optimizing, keep increasing their genius. And lastly, we're currently thinking of a global account management. We are doing this with Adobe. We want to sort of create a global support model so we can expand the best and most optimized strategies and support worldwide. So what happens in the Tokyo offices, we want also happening in the other regions. What goes really well in, say, Germany, we want that to happen at Indonesia too. So this is currently what we are working on. And lastly, before I hand it over to Koji again, I just want to give you two sort of examples or two case studies that our team carried out globally. So on the left, we have Rakuten Brazil. They have a very nice office located in São Paulo. So we had a request from the Rakuten Brazil CEO. They wanted to make their business data-driven. So I guess this is a very generic request, but we did this by sort of defining their requirements from Tokyo, and then I actually went to Brazil on site to actually understand how their infrastructure works and how the operation works. And then based on how they do business in Rakuten Brazil, I sort of skill transferred everything I knew about data-driven marketing and web analytics to a specific person. These were British in the photo there. So after I leave Brazil, I can just leave it up to her to keep running the business in a data-driven way. And then on the right, we have Rakuten Tarak. So this is Thailand. We held an Asian regional camp in Thailand where we had Rakuten Indonesia, Rakuten Taiwan, Rakuten Malaysia, and people from Rakuten Thailand all come to the Thailand office where people from the headquarters came and taught them separate things like SEO and web analytics and things like mobile optimizing. So our team also participated in this event, and we helped them create sort of a strategic utilization of reporting. So this was a very successful camp. The participants were very happy with what we taught them on site, and we also did some remote follow-up. So my team helps the global e-commerce businesses from both remote and on-site sort of interchangeably, depending on the business needs and situation. It just makes it easier for us to support both globally and locally. And we try our very best to sort of keep up and build a relationship necessary for sort of a global expansion worldwide. And that's it for my part, so I hand it back to Koji.
Okay. You know, I just realized there's a microphone. Can you hear? Okay. Or should I use microphone? Microphone. Okay. Right. Anyway. Okay. Right. Now let me cover some of the data-driven hospitality, which somebody's phone is kind of ringing. Anyway. So I asked you how many of you went to Japan, right? What's the best thing you experienced when you were in Japan? Food, other than food. Yes, it's not working, right? Yeah, I knew it. Hello? Oh. Yeah, a lot better. Okay. Hello? Okay, I will speak louder so you can, I don't think it might.
It's working, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a word, Japanese word called omotenashi, which is directly meaning hospitality, but it's more than hospitality in a true sense. Omotenashi meaning something, even if you are having the one-time meeting with your client or customers or whoever visiting you, you will do best of you have. You will serve the person as a king or queen, right? So that's hospitality, we call it. So that's why when you go to Japan, stay in a hotel, and go to a restaurant, you will feel like you're being treated like a king or queen, right? And this hospitality thing, I think there's a same thing we believe we can apply on the digital space. So Rakuten Ichiba is one of our core business, which is the e-commerce business. And how it works is we have a thing called B2B2C. And I don't think it's working, is it? I like to use my hands because I'm so short. I need to use my body movement to express. So we have things called B2B2C. So we have a business, the merchants, shop owners. They have running their own business, right? But they need to sell it outside of their premises. So they come to us, hey, Rakuten, can I use your space? And of course, and they can use our space to communicate with their potential customers across Japan. So there is a merchant sitting in the summer in a local countryside, but now they have, with our space, they have access to all of Japanese customers. There's 90 million customers, right? So there is no local border anymore, any longer. And we would like to do exactly the same thing for globally moving forward, okay? Same thing, Rakuten Travel. This is more like Expedia kind of business. We have a hotel owners, we have a booking site, and using our space, they can access to, again, 90 million customers. So that's what we call B2B2C business model. So coming back to the hospitality, why we think hospitality is necessary in our space. So we have, for the e-commerce, currently we have about 40,000 merchants or shop owners using our services. For the travel, we have 90,000 hotels owners that are using our services. But if you go to the shop or hotel, they have a passion. They are proud of their services. Currently, they have 160 million products being sold at Rakuten e-commerce site. And we have about 4 million hotel bookings a month. So that's the amount of business we have been dealing with to the 91 million customers. But you know what? Digital space, on your mobile phone, PC, can you express the emotion? Can you deliver merchants, hotel owners, passion to that? It's very difficult, isn't it? Okay. So that's what we believe is extremely, extremely important. And this is one of the most important ingredients for Rakuten business, the passion. Okay? So we've been thinking about how do we do that? How do we express people's emotion, passion into the digital space? How do we personalize it? How do we make a human touch into digital communication? So this is, I won't name the company, this is typical of our competitors. EC site experience. You go there, you already know what you want. You drop your coin, you get what you want. Very easy, huh? Very straightforward. But do you have emotion in here? No, right? This is what we want to provide. So you go to web market in Singapore or Indonesia, Jakarta, you communicate with the merchant shop owners. You have a conversation, and then you find what you want to buy. Maybe you have discovered something what you would expect it, right? When you enter the market. That's the kind of experience we want to provide on the digital space. So, a site again, look like that, okay? This is our site. But same, right? But when it comes to the product page, it's completely different. This is a site, okay? This is our site. Quite long. The longest page we've got, if you print it out in A4 size, 26 meters long. It's like a dictionary, right? There's a reason why. So A side, price, shipping fee, date of delivery. What do they do? Focus on the rationality. They already know what they want. What's the shortest vending machine approach? Shortest approach. Our side, we provide the technical information. We provide the recommendation. This, by the way, it's a shampoo for men, right? Men use shampoo. In case those ladies you don't know, right? Some people don't, but some people do. So we have why you need, the ingredients, technical, latest, cutting-edge technology provides this, whatever the ingredients are, which is good for your skin on your head. And recommendation, this shampoo is recommended for these kind of people. And you know what? This shampoo is actually #1 selling at Rakuten for the last 3 months. That kind of thing. So we focus more on emotion. So this is another example. So we sell a lot of seafood. There's a merchant in Hokkaido selling crabs, making millions and millions of dollars every year. Okay? So you can imagine this lots of pictures, visuals, creatives, which makes the customers easier to understand what it is. Okay? Another example, orange, Japanese orange. So this is the orange. Comes in a package, was recommended in many of the magazines. And this is where the environment, oranges are grown, so natural. And actually at the end, this is how they process. And you see the face of the merchant. Okay? Imagine without Rakuten, what would they do? What would they do? They can't sell it. They sell it to maybe local. They can't sell it outside Japan. They can't sell it outside the premises. So that's why they depend on us. Okay? So we're not taking their businesses. We actually let them use our space to empower them to outreach, which they couldn't do. Okay? So A side, vending machine, we are marketplace. So marketplace. So when our end users, customers come to our website, they have a rough idea what they want to buy. Maybe I want to buy some orange, but I don't know exactly what. Or maybe I want to buy some fruits or buy seafood, whatever. Window shopping. So there, our approach is called emotional focus. Whereas our competitors, pure EC, clear idea of what to buy. I want to buy this, so I need it now. So their focus is more rational. Okay. So you have another question. So you saw the long page that. Why do we need that? There's a reason. So there's a merchants A and B selling foie gras. You know, the French cuisine, the gourmet. Same thing. They're selling exactly the same food, say foie gras product. But this merchant, shop owner, conversion rate only 1.9. But this merchant, 3.9. At this moment, only the reason you know is this is longer, right? But we need more scientific, right? Okay. So we studied. So what's happening? So this shop owner on the page, they only contain generic information, whereas this side has a lot more information, like a service suggestions, you know, like store method and a reason of discount, etc., etc. And based on which, okay, how do we make this better? So we started talking with the market shop owners, interviewing. So who do you actually target your audience? And then they said, well, I'm actually looking for this high-end, high-class customers. But in reality, when we look at the data, they can actually potentially sell more. So let's try to expand your target, okay? And that's what we told them. And based on which we identified the target audience they should be focusing on. And based on which we provided, okay, these kind of contents are necessary to attract those customers. Based on which we created the content. So what to target, who to target, what contents to show, how the contents to be displayed. The results were quite outstanding. They now actually beat their competitors. Okay, so this is all the long page you saw. It's not just a long, right? There's a reason behind it, the scientific reason behind it.
So,
Yes.
so do you treat your customer as a merchant that has multiple products or as a product? I mean, per product.
They typically have multiple products.
So you look at them as stores. One store that sells multiple products. Is that how it is, or do you sell?
We don't actually tell them what to sell.
Yeah, of course not.
Right.
You treat them as a store.
Yes.
So you put a multiple product at the store.
Yes.
So they come in the name wise is as a store, a gourmet French food store.
Yeah.
I see.
But they ended up selling many different varieties.
Yeah.
of things. So now you have I'm assuming you have two additional questions. Okay, I mentioned about emotion. How important is that? Right? Long page, as long as you have a long page, is that enough? What do you need to understand emotion? Then second question is, how Rakuten, if the emotion is important, how do we apply that into business?
Wow.
So, right. They don't actually look like that.
Yeah.
Okay? So we have data scientists. We also have analysts. We work together. Extremely important. We work together. Right? So data scientists, they focus on emotion. They focus on look at the unstructured data. And they try to discover hypotheses based on the raw data and database mining using these kinds of solutions. Whereas the analysts, they focus on behavior and looking at the structured data and proving whatever the hypothesis result here, they are the ones who will prove it based on Adobe data. Extremely important. Okay? Right. Let me explain one example of how we do this. There's out of this 70 service, we have a thing called the Rakuten Mart, which is the grocery shopping delivery, home delivery. So there was a challenge for us. Many people still have the issue buying fresh food. Buy fresh food from the internet? I could just go to the store and buy myself, right? But when you think about it, you have a water or juice and milk to carry. It's heavy stuff, right? And like myself, you have 2 kids running all over the place. It's very difficult. Oh, don't go there. You don't do that, right? So data scientists did this approach. So looking at the data, they try to create the product groups, which is come together, often bulked together. Okay? You understand K-means? Anyone? Data scientist? Okay. And based on the grouping, they categorized and try to understand why. What's the background? So there's a root vegetable, like potato and carrots. There's a leafy vegetable, like spinach and lettuce. And also fruit vegetables, like eggplant, tomatoes. And when you think about emotional impression of first-time buyers, this is easier to buy. This is harder to buy. You know why? Potatoes, it's easy to imagine potato is a potato, right? If you buy potatoes online, potatoes offline, potato is a potato, right?
Yes.
The tomato gets a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Tomato, it might crash on the way. I don't like tomato which has a little, cut in it. So I want to have a perfect tomato. So that's harder. But when it comes to leafy vegetables, that sits somewhere in the middle. So we thought maybe something to do with that. Okay, so we did another analysis. So based on the grouping of products, and looking at the timeline and understanding the shift of people's emotion from potato to tomato. Spinach was the hint. You know why? Potato. It's very easy to buy potatoes online. Yes, this is what I expected. And pretty much the same as what I buy from the store. And then, if we have a promotion on the spinach, which a lot of Japanese people buy, when you get spinach, when you order spinach online, and when you get it delivered, many people feel, hey, this isn't as bad as I expected. Then that's the moment you have an emotional transition from you feel safe, okay, I can trust Rakuten to buy fresh food. And then, so long as you have that emotional transition, people will start buying tomatoes. So based on that, we have built this customer nurturing program. So initial moment, eggs, let them buy eggs, potato, leafy vegetable, and then they become loyal. Now we have hypothesis, right? So we need to prove it. Who does that? Analyst. So using the site catalyst data, web analytics, it's a complicated monster, right?
Yes.
There are so many things you need to do. But now, if you have a team, if you have a focus, as a high analyst, only the thing you need to do is just to sell spinach. It makes it a lot easier for them. Okay, right, spinach. So they do all the PDCA, A/B testing, all of that, just to sell spinach. And once they do that, easily, and make a lot of money. And Rakuten currently is one of the fastest growing grocery businesses. Obviously. So you understand how data scientists, analysts, works for emotion. How much time up? 5 more minutes? Okay. So last, I think I have over 10 more. So you have a scale plus hospitality, emotion. How do we apply that? Now, if you think about it, if you have this broad range of businesses, diversity, what kind of behavior data do we have in our database? Obviously, for the e-commerce side, we have a purchasing behavior. But it's not just the purchasing behavior. Adobe Site Catalyst can capture behavioral information, so which means people may be looking at the product, but not necessarily buying the product, which means they have a desire to buy, but some reason they're not buying it. Is it price or is it something else? So that kind of thing. Again, Rakuten trouble. Where do they go? How do they go? Where do they wish to go? Hey, this guy's looking at Hawaii, but he never been to Hawaii. Why? Right? Or Bali. And family structure. Okay? Rakuten wa, what do they eat? Healthy preference. Are they eating organic food or are they not eating organic food, junk food? Family structure again. And we also have our Rakuten Securities, selling funds. What do they invest? Interest in investment, financial background. We have Rakuten actual credit card and card transaction. What do they buy? From where? Are they buying from A competitor, A side? Or are they buying from Rakuten? Payment option. So all of those, this is just one tip of iceberg of data we have. All of those data we have. So this is kind of data we can get. So here's the Rakuten member ID, gender, where they live, member rank, how many times they log in, EC viewed iPhone 6 Plus pages 20 times in the last 2 weeks, but he didn't buy. Or trouble, viewed the Hawaii trouble package for 2 people, but he didn't go. What's happening here, right? So 7 services I mentioned, all of that customer behavior in there with this scale of customers. So what are we trying to do next? This is where we rely on Adobe. Lifetime events, if we can define things like that. Okay? With the Rakuten ID, with the database behavior, we can understand, hey, this guy bought this, read this, went there. And based on which we can assume with a 97% confidence where he is, what life stage he is in. And then, this is extremely important, hospitality engine, Adobe Marketing Cloud. You have audience manager, you have a master marketing profile, you have cross-device stitching, all of that function we need, they've got it. And all of our services, which he has never engaged with, but we know the life stage, right? So what do? Mortgage, life insurance, maybe he won't say. Let's communicate. Let's personalize communication. Let's recommend prediction, automation, okay, machine learning. So that's the end of the slides. I hope you like it. Questions? You did that. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I have a couple of questions. Well, actually, you were mentioning about the emotion through, because I know Rakuten is not only in Japan, but it's also in Brazil and also in Southeast Asia, which is Thailand,
yeah.
Taiwan, and Korea. What is your challenge? Yeah. What is the challenge for you? Because there are so many that. So, what is the challenge? Because each of country has a different type of culture. Maybe in Japan, you like to be detailed because it's catch with emotional more. But maybe in I don't know, maybe in Indonesia or in the Philippines, we tend to be more direct or stuff like that. You know? How did you conquer with that challenge? And my second question: how did you decide to open the office, for example, in South Asia, in Thailand, right? So how did you come up to decide to put the office in Thailand? And the third question, from all the Southeast Asia, what is the most challenging, also especially Indonesia, what is your study from that? another last question. I just
Okay,
want
my brain can hold only 3 questions.
no. My last question is, what's meaning of Rakuten and how did you?
What's
Meaning of Rakuten.
meaning of Rakuten. Okay, I actually skipped that slide. Rakuten. Can I start with that before I forget? There's a word, or I think the legislation back in 15th century. 15th. Yeah. So when the shogun and all the historical emperors and the warriors were conquering the Japan as a country, and all the marketplace was prohibited. It was completely controlled by the government. And there was a new legislation. New warriors came in. Hey, I will try to change Japan, right? And he changed it by this legislation called the Rakuichi Rakuza. The Rakuten word came from that. Our CEO, Mikitani, he's thinking when he sees the opportunity of internet came in, he actually, hey, this is exactly the same thing what happened back in 15th century. We cannot control. We must not control the internet. We have to open it. We have to make sure that this space is open for everybody.
So
Right.
that's the spirit.
So that's reflecting the company. Okay. Who's having next question? Okay, sorry.
No,
I still remember.
Thank you.
It's a good question. We have been acquiring many overseas companies. The biggest challenge for us is exactly what you just asked. Understanding their culture. Understanding, and I think keeping a good part of the Japanese business. But while maybe there are some things that we need to discard if we really truly want to become a global company. And we need to start understanding what's the local requirements, legislation, what's the culture behind it. And then, based on which we can apply whatever B2B2C business model up on top of that. But one thing I can assure you is that there's one common language we have. You know what?
Money?
Close.
Hospitality.
Data. If you look at the data, it doesn't matter
Yep.
where you're from.
Makes sense.
So we believe that's why we want to make sure all the businesses, no matter where, is data-driven. Okay.
And Indonesian, the challenge in Indonesia?
Challenge with Indonesia, logistics is one of the key challenges. Its logistics in Japan is quite mature, relatively. Indonesia, again, you have 3 times more islands than we have. So you have, we have 3 times more challenge. And especially the cultural difference, religious difference, all that, it will make things a little bit more complicated. But I think we'll get there eventually. But right now we are still in the learning stage, to be honest.
Can I chime in on this one? So one of the interesting things that one of my colleagues at Adobe presented to idEA in March, I think, George, it was. He talked about this challenge, exactly, right? And he showed the Amazon drone. I said the bad word. I'm sorry. He showed the drone and how it was kind of a publicity stunt, but now we're actually considering doing it, right? And you think about how that might apply to Southeast Asia, and you think about all of the tuk-tuks, all of the motorbikes. They're huge, right? And what if you now had everyone that had a smartphone, that had GPS, and all of a sudden you're enabling all of these motorbike drivers or tuk-tuks to be your delivery. And you know where they are. There's so many of them. And it's something that we think could be that bridge to solving that logistics problem. You're taking a very local, resource, local thing that your people are very comfortable with,
Yes.
and you're making it much more resourceful.
Interesting.
Vicky, you had a question, right?
Oh, yeah. I just want to ask, I mean, you emphasize a lot on emotion, which I agree, I mean, it's still a big part.
You need help?
I was wondering, under all this digitalized and computerized, whatever, how many bodies or real person that you need to operate such a thing, just for scale? I mean, I was wondering, because like customer service, customer complaint, I think that needs personal, and sometimes people need to call before they do the purchase. So, in comparison between the automation and the people, scale-wise, or just
Good question. For those e-commerce business and travel business, we have a specific position within Rakuten called e-commerce consultant. So they have many merchants, which is their responsibility. So they talk to each merchant, hey, I'm looking at your data, and this is what's happening. You should do that, you should do this. And they will share whatever the complaints they've got from the end customers. And then we discuss, okay, this is probably, if that's what the customer is saying, maybe because the content saying that, so when the product gets delivered, there's a little gap between their expectation and actual products. So maybe we should reflect that into the website, something like that. So that somehow reducing the amount of the gap between the customer's expectation and what we provide. But still, emotional bits is a little bit tricky. So we try to look at the data in holistically and try to provide more insights to the market.
And just to add on to that too, I think that's exactly, I think initially you're going to have more people that are going to be having that more hands-on approach.
Yes.
But as you can start to identify when people are calling, why they're calling, you can then begin to automate and do more customer service digitally and understand more about when they're calling, why. So
when
you
we
can
know the
exactly. So and using that sentiment through data to be able to act upon that. So as you scale and as you become more sophisticated, it might become more digitized. So you don't have to have the cost of call centers.
Any other questions?
Listening to your presentation earlier, you mentioned that you define the data using Adobe products. Do you also using another analytics platform to make analysis, because maybe you will find untapped information using another platform? And then the second one is you try to analyze the two landing pages. Because first is for original landing pages, and then the second one is the rational one. And
Sorry,
then,
what was that?
sorry, you mentioned that you compare two different landing page schemes. First to create emotional, and then the rational one, like Amazon and Rakuten. And then you define the structure of how the landing page saying to the customer. My question is, when you finding, is it applied to all customer around the world, or only for example, a particular customer?
The first question.
Yeah, okay.
Can I start with the second question? I think the second question is easy. The Amazon focus on. Oops, I said that. Amazon focus on the pure rationality, right? So on the product page, they only provide very rational mechanical information like price, shipping day, and shipping fee charge, things like that. And we provide the more emotional side, so that's why it becomes long page. And you ask if that can be applied to different countries, different cultures. Yes, we can, but it's not the, let's say, whatever the product page you have, iPhone page, whatever that is. We provide the content, don't translate. Is a right. If you just, whatever it works in Japan, it does not mean it works in the US, it works in Indonesia, it works in Singapore. the way people look at, the way people being attracted by what visual is it's a culture. Okay? So the components might remain the same, but how you display, present it, is actually you need to test it. So using A/B testing, which Adobe has, Adobe Target, you can actually run the motivated testing, you can run A/B testing, whatever the methodology you have, you can actually unique prove it based on the country. Just to share one of my experience, when I was working in my previous company, I was managing whole global e-commerce site. And biggest mistake we did, there was a campaign called the natural selection. You know natural selection, right? Yeah. It's the biology evolving stuff. The word natural selection, when you translate it into Germany, it means sexual mediated. So what we did, we built the campaign in UK. And we thought, okay, this is the layout, this is the creative, this is the call to action. Everybody must follow. No question. So we send it to the agency, do that, translate it, send it to all the Germany, Spain, Japan, China, all over. They did that. It didn't work. It failed. Especially Germany. It did not work that way. So you have to, and then what we did is we fixed that issue. Okay, we need to fix it. Using the same components, do cultural translation first. Leave the creative unless it's necessary to change it. Like China, you have to be really careful with, especially color. Right? The red, it was funny that I had the people working in Spain, China, Japan, and Austria, Singapore, many other Germany. And I asked everybody, hey, can you come up with whatever the red you think is the red? They completely came up with a different red. China being the most bloody red. Japan slightly soft red, like more pinkish. So anyway, so whatever the red, when I say red, everybody has a different perception. So that needs to be applied to the creative side. Maybe I might be a bit different. And your first question, yes, we do use other than Adobe. We have an in-house data tracker, which is still being developed. And we also have, especially the marketing side, we use the more marketing data, especially like external advertisement. Okay. I'm not sure if I answered your question.
All right. Promise.
Okay, I think time is one more question. One more question.
Okay. You put a content for a very long page, right? But at the same time, we also understand that people have limited time to do all the scrolling. Have you ever done like comparison with video, let's say, because video, like only one video can comprise everything?
Yes, we are currently doing that. Yeah.
So, is there any test result?
But only thing you have to be careful really is device. The video, people are getting familiar to view video on a smartphone device, but on a PC, they still like, I'd rather just go skip through. So it's really depends on the device and generation. So if you compare my daughter, she can actually read all YouTube content, and my mother can't even touch smartphone. She thinks it will explode.
Can I have a question? Give some example is intangible product. The tangible product. Do you have any experience how to get the emotion of the intangible product? Intangible, yeah, like the
Tangible,
like the insurance.
Oh, insurance.
Do you have any experience?
Insurance, yes. Emotional side. One of the tests we've been doing. Let me give you a question. Maybe I can share something. Is it okay with time?
Yes.
This is the one of the life insurance business, rather than life insurance. So this is before. You understand life insurance can be quite complex, especially those who is willing to make how do you say that? To buy insurance, but still there are many things you need to consider. It's an age, the price is different depending on your age, man, female, gender, family structure, things like that. So in the past, we had many contents. So we put everything on top page, hoping they will figure out whatever they need. But it didn't work out. So based on the study, well, we did customer sessions. So what's the difficult when you engage with a life insurance? They said, it's all complex. I don't understand. All I need is just insurance for myself, for my husband, or my wife. That's it. And for my age, my generation. But you provide me so much information with a book this thick, I don't understand. So we said, okay, what if provide very specific content? They said, yes, that's what we want. What we did is using Adobe Target. Based on a questionnaire, well, I will share with you later. So we have many different customers, right? So understanding each person's requirement, only showing requirements. So how we did that? So using Adobe Target, we put this questionnaire. So whoever comes very first time to Rakuten Life Insurance, we show this. This little pop-up come up. Can you actually answer these 4 simple questions? How old are you? What's family structure? What do you want? What types of insurance you're looking for? And by answering these 4 questions, the contents will be, the top page will be personalized. So instead of having many different prices, you only get it. And this person has exactly have same insurance as you would expect. And this is the price. Okay. And this we could not achieve without this. I'm being like the Adobe sales guy. I didn't really include it. Okay. So this is something that you might want to look into to answer. Okay? Is that it? Okay, great, thank you very much. If you still have any questions,
Thank you very much, Susan. So next, the last bit. We are going to show you what a day in the life of a marketer of the future will look like. So some of the common challenges that we've heard a lot from our customers in Indonesia and Southeast Asia. How do I know who my customers are? How do I know what's happening? How do I make sense of data? How can I quickly act upon it? And how can I work with other parts of the organization, other business units and partners to quickly be able to respond to what my customers are saying and doing? So Aman is going to take you through what this will actually look like from a marketer's perspective. And we're going to do this in real time, so bear with us on technology. Hopefully it cooperates. And yeah.
Slow and loud. Hi, good morning everyone. I'm the guy who's between you and lunch. Right? My name is Aman. I work as a solution consultant. But today I'm not Aman and I'm not a solution consultant. I'm a marketer who's working with a retail company called Geometrics. And I've been tasked, or my team has been tasked, to sell shoes online. So I'm going to take you through how I come up in the morning, after I've had my cup of coffee, I start my day, and then how do different teams within my company work on delivering that campaign. Okay? So what you're looking at over here is a bunch of cards that different people within my organization have shared. And it comprises of images, it comprises of insights, it comprises of different stuff that different organizational individuals have shared. Where is that coming from? Thank you for that. And what I see over here is there's this anomaly, or there is a decrease in conversion rate that's been detected, and I've been asked as an analyst to go in and find out why conversion rate has dropped. So I have no idea. I just came in and toured. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to analyze this anomaly. So what I'm looking at over here is the anomaly detection report. So rather than going through thousands and thousands of reports to try and find out which conversion rate has dropped or which metric has gone up, it actually highlights the metrics that have gone up or gone down, which is great because as an analyst, I have a very hard time trying to find out what's happening with my business. So I can see here, and I don't know if you guys can see, but the line on the top is the conversion rate. It's gone down 50%. And the visits have gone up. So something tells me there's a lot of people coming to my site, but not enough people buying stuff. So let me find out why this is happening. And in order to do that, I go to the next report, which is called the contribution analysis report. And what this is telling me is now that there is a bunch of keyword there. If you copy Geometrics Terrafit, that's the keyword there. That's gone up. And also visits from Bing have gone up. So there's a lot of people coming to my site. They're using Geometrics Terrafit, that's the word, and they're coming from Bing. Now I have no idea. Do you know what Geometrics Terrafit is? I have no idea. So let's do what everybody is doing, which is searching for that term. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into Bing, and I'm going to search for the term Geometrics Terrafit. And it looks like there's a video here that's being shared. It's a YouTube video. So let's go ahead and look at what that is. So it looks like it's a training video or a workout video that's being shared. So I guess it looks like Park Joni, you want to train like this someday? Maybe?
Joni is every day, right? Yeah?
Alright, okay, that's how he's being built. It's pretty cool. So it looks like there's this guy, he's wearing the shoes that we sell, and he's made a video of him doing this combination of outdoors and CrossFit. And it looks like that's gone viral, so this is great. There's a lot of people who are looking for these shoes because the video has gone viral and people are trying to find out where these shoes are and where I can buy them. They're coming on the site. We obviously have a very bad site right now because people can't find these shoes and they're bouncing off. So a lot of people come to the site, they can't find the shoes, and they're bouncing off, and that's why the conversion rate has dropped. So this is great. Now what I'm doing is I'm making sense of the data. I'm going to make the data actionable. So I'm going to jump back into my solution. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a segment out of this data. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add these segment attributes. So I'm going to add Geometrics Terrafit, that term, Geometrics Terra-fit. And I'm also going to add people who came from Microsoft Bing. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to create a segment that is a combination of people who came from Bing and were either coming using the term Geometrics Terrafit or Terra-fit. This is great. This is a segment. It's about 28,000 people, but it's really not big enough for people in the organization to get excited, right? If I tell people in an organization that there's a segment of 28,000 people, they'll be like, oh, that's great. You know, I've been working on this 500,000 people segment that, you know, the marketing team passed. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump into Adobe Analytics and analyze the segment. And what you see over here is Adobe a cluster analysis and trying to find out what is unique about these 28,000 people and how many more similar people are there on the site. So you can see here there's a bunch of clusters, each one of them has a few attributes, whether they're coming from the mobile device or not, what is the average income, and you can have that coming from third-party data, and what is the average order value. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and see what this cluster is and what is common across this cluster. So turns out this is the cluster that's a geometric shoes cluster. And there's higher than average people who are coming from mobile device, and the average order value seems to be higher than average as well. So this is a very interesting cluster, and I'm going to share it with the rest of the team so that they can take action on this data. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to share it with the rest of my team who can then make sense out of this data. So I'm going to create a card on that Pinterest style board that you saw earlier. I'm going to call it the conversion anomaly board, and I'm going to share this with the rest of the team. So what you saw till now was that I, as an analyst, I came in the morning, somebody told me the conversion rate dropped last night, can you find out why? So I had no idea. I went into the system told me that the conversion rate dropped and the visits increased. Then I searched for geometric stereo, found out there was a video, created a segment, and then found out there are some common traits that made the segment go from 27,000 to about 231,000 now. So what I've done is I've taken action based on that data. So I'm going to share this with the rest of the team, and this is the conversion anomaly dashboard, which has a video that I've shared with everybody to let them know why there are a lot of people coming, and there's also the anomaly itself, that's a card that's been shared as well. So this is great, because what I've now done is I've taken action on that data. But there are other people in my team who need to now do something about it, right? I'm the analyst. I've told people there's a very valuable segment. So what will you do next? And to do that, I'm going to take off my jacket so that you don't get confused that I'm the same guy. Now I'm a different guy.
So one of the things that I'm showing right now that we talked about earlier, it's not just the data, but it's having the technology to understand the data, but also having process to be able to quickly leverage that data, that technology and insight, and now the process to be able to work through it.
Yep. So now I am a different guy, so I'm going to come and stand here. I am the guy who's responsible for creating landing pages. I'm the guy who's responsible for creating content, and that's my team who takes care of it. So I see that the analyst in the morning had shared this amazing segment that they found that is really valuable to my business. But in order to cater to that need, I need to create landing pages and personalize the experience of the person when it lands on my site. So traditionally, it would take you weeks and days to kind of go and write that brief and give it to your IT or your agency. But I'll show you how easy it is. So I am now the content manager. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to look at my Marketing Cloud feed, and I see that there's a task that's been assigned to me. I found a potentially interesting audience that we should generate some landing pages for and make sure the homepage reflects their interests. That's the card on the left. I know you can't read it. But what I'm going to now do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create an experience for this audience. So I start by looking at the Adobe Experience Manager page. You've got sites, assets, and tools. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a new landing page. So I'm going to use the landing page template. I'm going to create a new page. This is my template here. And I'm going to give it a name, Terafit. Let's wait for it to get generated. So that's my page. It's a landing page, so it's blank. But yesterday, my agency had passed me a landing page HTML file for approval. And now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take that file and I'm going to drag and drop it into my CMS to turn it into an editable template. So here's that Terafit layout file. And I'm going to just drag and drop it. Boom, that's the HTML files turned into an editable template. And editable because I can go ahead and I can change the text as well. So instead of the ultimate trainer, I'm going to call it the ultimate Terafit trainer, because the term Terafit is now trending, right? And I'm also going to change this default video to the video that's been trending. So let me go ahead and find that video in the shared asset library that everybody is using. I see that video here. So I'm going to just drag and drop it and update my landing page. So what I've done is, I've taken the HTML files that my agency had sent me, I've turned them into an editable template in my experience management system, and I've changed the copy so that people know that it's a catchy word, Terrafit, right now. And the video is not the default video of the product, but rather the video that's been trending, the workout video. So people can relate to and understand it's the same shoe and it's the same guy that I was looking for. Now we remember that there were a lot of people who were using the mobile device, coming to my site using that term. So I'm going to see if this looks all right. Yeah, it looks fine in the iPhone. For all the Android lovers, I don't want to offend them. So I'm going to see, yeah, looks all right to me. So this is fantastic, and what I'm going to now do is, I'm going to also create a customized homepage. So you know, when people land on the homepage, you want to make sure that the experience that they have is very unique. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go and edit the website, and try and see if I can find more hero images to change the ready to climb to relevant. So there's this banner that had been created, the Terrafit ActionX to conquer the terrain in style. I'm going to use this, and I'm going to drag and drop this, and looks like this is relevant now. You can also change the text based on where the people are coming from. That's a part of the personalization. Not only that, you can also change the pink that you see right now is for women, but if persona Scott Reynolds, which is the persona for men that we've defined in the system, came to the site, that red pink would change to blue. So we're trying to personalize it as much as possible, not only for the location as well as for the gender. So this is fantastic. I've been able to create a landing page. I've been able to personalize the homepage experience. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go back into the system, and I'm going to share it with everybody before I get a coffee or before I get lunch. In my word, not today. Just to go a little bit further. And that's how easy it was. So you saw that when I came in the morning, somebody assigned this task to me, create a landing page, create personalized homepage experience. I log into the system, I use the HTML file that my agency had sent me. I turned that into an editable template, and I also personalized the homepage experience by using banner images that were contextual to the and relevant to the audience that was going to be coming in. And I did all this. But to take the story further, because there's a lot of opportunity in this segment, I'm also going to tell the A/B testing guy to do something about this opportunity as well. So I'm going to assign this task, and I'm going to ask him to then create some more personalization and run an A/B test for this audience. And for that, now I'm going to take the third role. So I'm going to switch places again so you don't get confused. And I'm going to be the guy who now starts running the A/B test, right? So I'm coming in, and I've also been assigned a task, and my task is please test new landing pages to see if we can improve the engagement and reduce the bounce rate. Typical experience, typical challenge that all marketers have. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a targeting activity, and to do that, I'm going to log into Adobe Target, and I can see here there's a bunch of tests that are running already. I'm going to create a new test, which is called an activity. I'm going to give it a name, Terrafit tests, give it an objective, it'll measure the performance of the new landing page, choose the audience. Now this is the beautiful thing about this solution, because the segment that was created and shared in the analytics tool is available for me to personalize that experience in the target. It's the same segment. So if you read the Terrafit enthusiast, it was a segment that was created by an analyst. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to personalize the experience. So this is the default experience. You can see that landing page. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select a few more hero images that were developed by my creative team, and I'm going to select them. So let me swap these images. So I'm going to select LP Hero Men's Action X Trainer. This one seems cool. There's just a bunch of people who are running around. But these are a lot of banners, and I really don't have the time to say which banner is going to be seen by which particular segment. So I'm going to let the system take care of the math. I'm going to automate it, and when I do an automation, the system decides which banner is going to be working for which particular audience. In the end, the banner that is winning is the one that's going to be served to that particular audience. So this is great. I don't need to worry about matching which banners to which segments. It's automated. I'm going to split the traffic 50 and 50% between my experience, which was the landing page that was created by my colleague and 50% for the new experience that I've created with an automation. I'm going to run it for a while, and then what I can see is, and this is now, let's say I kept it running for a week, the results which would look something like this. So you can see here that the Terrafit category page that was personalized is converting better and has a lift that's been created as well. So this is great and makes my job worthwhile. I've actually helped the company make money or more money, and I'm going to share this with the rest of the team through the same Terrafit dashboard. So this was me coming in and being asked to create an A/B testing experience. I created it, and on the new experience that I had created, I did not select one, but I selected 6 images, and I did not tie it to a particular segment. I let the system decide which particular segment would see which particular experience. And that's how easy it is for you to set up a test and let it run for a while before you see the results. So that was the part of the company that was responsible for A/B tests. You saw some great case studies from Rakuten and how they're doing some amazing A/B tests as well. But I am now going to switch from testing and personalization for a segment to having a one-to-one communication with the nodes. So with any company, and I'm going to switch places because I'm switching roles again. But for any company, the challenge is how do we go from personalizing experiences for segments to then having a one-to-one communication with the people we know a lot about, whether it's an email ID, gender, or any other piece of information. So what I've done here is I've logged into my campaign management solution, and I can see a lot of detailed data around individuals that I've stored information. So I know, what their phone number is because they've given it to me, their name, their gender, their age, where they are, or the way they checked in the last time because they were using my Facebook, app. And they've given me access to that information. And I also have all the different interactions that I've had so far, whether it's when I call them, or whether I send them a direct mail, or whether I send a push notification. So since they became a member, how many times have I communicated to them, and across which channel, whether it was SMS, email, direct mail, etc. So what I get is a 360 view of how many interactions I've had and how much data I have about each and every individual. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set up a new campaign that is going to use this data in Adobe Campaign to then have that one-to-one experience. And it's very simple. I can start by looking at all the different campaigns that are running. One of them is the ActionX customer campaign. So these are going to be the moving parts within that campaign. There's going to be some images here. And you can see there's an approval that's awaited for this image. There are some more images that are part of this campaign. And within that, there are, and with the campaign, there are other moving parts. There's a Facebook app that I have created to promote that shoe. There's also some offline articles that are going to be sent to my PR agency to be published. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in and I'm going to build a cross-channel marketing campaign. And what this cross-channel marketing campaign is going to do is essentially take the data that I have and then split it by the preferred channel which my audience has asked me to be contacted. So if people say I want to be contacted through email or SMS or push notifications, I'm going to use that channel to send out a promotional message around the shoes. And this is the audience that have shown an interest in that shoe. Again, going back to the same segment, but these are known. These are people out of that entire segment who had logged in at some point in time. So I'm going to run this campaign, and after this campaign runs, I'm going to get some metrics around data acquisition, data quality, and some social traction that I managed to generate out of that audience. So this is great. I ran a one-to-one campaign. I contacted all the individuals who were in touch with me, and I was able to generate some revenue for my organization. So I'm going to share this with the rest of the marketing team. But one part of my business that often kind of gets neglected, but they're really cool, is the social media team. Should I pull out my shirt now? Because it's the social media team, guys. They're cooler than usual. But now I'm the social media analyst.
I think it's Batman and Robin are the data scientists and the web analysts, and the social team's like the penguin.
Yeah. Totally. So if I'm the social media guy, I'm responsible for monitoring trends that are relevant to my brand. If I'm selling shoes, I want to look at running, I want to look at athletics, I want to look at training, I want to look at cross. So what I'm going to look over here is the same cards that everybody in the organization has access to, and they've shared this with me. So one of my colleagues here has shared this anomaly around the term running. So I'm monitoring a lot of words. One of the terms is really trending, which is running. So it's interesting for me as a social media manager because the good thing is my team is actually doing their job. So they are actually tracking all the terms. So let me go ahead and look at why this term is trending. So as I log in into the system, I can see that I'm tracking a few terms: geometrics fitness, camping, backpack, and looks like the term that's trending is geometrics running. And it's the same video that's responsible for that. There's a lot of other content around running. And the beauty of the tool right now is that it tells me that when people are searching or people are typing in running as a term a lot, they're also talking about shoes, goals, triathlon. So I know that when I need to create social content, it needs to be around goals, it needs to be around triathlon, it needs to be around training. So it's also telling me what other terms are people talking about. It kind of helps me with content discovery. This is great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a post to promote geometrics, because it's a term that's trending and running is also trending as well. So I'm going to select my Facebook page, Geometrics Outdoors, and my Twitter handle. I'm going to run this across through the Geometrics Global Running Shoe campaign. I'm going to type in the text. Looks like Twitter's 140 character limit has been invoked, so I'm going to fix that. Once that is done, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at whether this post is going to do well or not. So there's this cool feature that's called post predictions. It tells me whether when I'm creating this post and I'm publishing it on Facebook, whether it's going to do well or not, which is great, right? So I'm going to also select these tags. This is easy for me to retrieve this campaign later. I'm going to target particular countries I can select. So I could have selected Jakarta or Indonesia. And the other cool thing is it's also telling me what is a good time to post. So I don't have to post at post the post that I've created right now. The system's telling me that if you post at around 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, it gets you the best traction. So I'm going to listen to the system, I'm going to schedule it for later. And once this bunch of posts are ready, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to publish them. So I've published the posts on Twitter and Facebook at the same time. I'm going to go ahead and now look at what else is happening. So there's this content calendar which tells me exactly what posts are going out when, and which posts are going when they got published in the past as well. So it's got a monthly view, it's got a weekly view, it's got a list view, which is fantastic because it tells me what my content strategy is. Am I publishing too many videos? Am I publishing too little? And what channels am I reaching out my audience on, etc. Fantastic features. I'm pretty excited about it. Now that I've launched the campaign and it's run for a while, the next thing that I'm being asked as a business to do is analyze that campaign. So you can look at the campaign report here. It's got a lot of campaigns on social media that I've been running, and I found that the global running shoe launch campaign has made about $33,000. This is awesome, right? I mean, social media generally doesn't make money, but this is directly attributable revenue that I'm generating for the business. So of course I'm going to make a big deal about it. I'm going to share it with the rest of the team. And you can see here that I'm generating higher than average engagements and revenue. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share this again with the rest of the team through the TerraFit board. So what you saw over here is that I found out as a social media guy that the term was trending, running. I created some content that's relevant to the audience, and I was able to publish at the same time on Twitter and Facebook. And then once I analyzed the campaign, I realized that the campaign had made about $33,000, which is great, justifies my job, you know. I'm useless social media, you know how it is. And then I can share it with the rest of the team and say, hey, even social media as a team took action on that data. So that was the social media team. Now what is the paid media team doing now? And for that bit, I'm going to jump ships again and switch to this location. Now I'm the guy who's got the money. Well, I'm the guy who's responsible for spending the money, so I don't really have the money. But I'm the guy who's answerable. And when I log in, I see the same anomaly detection card and the same landing pages card that different people have shared across the organization. And what I also see is one of my teams has shared this portfolio card, which tells me that one of my portfolios is doing very well. So let me go ahead and let me see which particular portfolio that is. Wow, it looks like it's the ActionX Trainers portfolio that's doing pretty well. So I'm going to try and see why that particular portfolio is doing well. So you can see here that this is generating 290% ROI for me, which is crazy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a simulation here for ROI for the most recent days. It was for yesterday. And once I run this simulation, it's going to tell me if this is the most I can make out of this campaign, or is there some potential left as well. So right now you can see that I'm spending $16,000 and I'm making $33,000, right? But the system's telling me if I spend $22,000, I'm going to make a lot more before that return flattens out. It won't be even 220% that I want it to be. This is awesome, and it's also telling me that I need to shift my ad spend between search, social, and display in a certain ratio. So of course I'm going to listen to what the system's telling me. I'm going to shift my ad spend, and what else I'm going to do is the organic Twitter post that was created that did pretty well, I'm going to turn it into a sponsored tweet as well, because I know that that organic post did pretty well for me. So I'm going to promote that particular tweet or set of tweets. Now I'm going to apply these changes. So it's telling me, are you sure you want to spend $6,000 more? Yeah, of course I want to spend $6,000 more. I know it's going to make me the money. So I'm going to add this to my budget, and I'm going to then create this card that I'm going to share with the rest of the team to tell them that I've taken some action as well to make sure that we make more money on the whole Action X trail, right? So this is great, and I'm going to share it with the rest of the team. And guess what? The experience that users see now when they search for geometric surfeit on Bing, it's our ad that always ranks on the top. And this kind of helps understand how Adobe helps you predict what is the right way and what is the right spread in which you need to spend the money between search, social, and display. It also helps you kind of look into the future in terms of whether you will be getting the ROI you want to see or not. So just to summarize my entire day, and this is just one day of all the campaign activities that are happening across the team. Remember the analyst who came in the morning and saw the conversion anomaly? Well, guess what? He created a segment and he shared it with the rest of the team. The content guys came in and created a landing page and personalized the home page. The A/B testing guys took that further, and the landing page that was created had now 5 different banners that were automated, and they were presented according to who that person was who was coming in. The campaign guys were able to create a one-to-one relationship in terms of who would be promoted that particular shoe based on their preferred method of contacting them, whether it was email or SMS or push notifications. The social media team was able to generate content and publish it out and create some ROI, tangible ROI around that campaign. And finally, the media team was able to then take that data around a portfolio, the ActionX portfolio, that was doing much better than the other portfolios, and add even more investment in it because it promised even better ROI. So that's how it would look like in the future, and for a lot of organizations, that's how it's looking like today as well. And hopefully you found that interesting. Thank you.
So I know, thank you, Aman. Microphones are just,
Speak loud.
So I think, I know we're a little bit over time. We started a little bit late, so I think we'll just end with a couple of questions. I think either for Adobe or Rakuten. Okay, I know you guys already asked quite a lot of questions. And then we'll go to lunch, if that works. So how much time for questions, do you think? 10 minutes for questions, so anybody have questions? Yes?
Okay. So thank you very much for the presentation. I'm coming from the e-commerce company, so we are very care about the ROI, and I'm interested seeing the way of Adobe, the way Adobe is showing the ROI to the customer. And then, as you know, Indonesia is a very, very unique market where 60% from our company is generated using bank transfer payment method, and then 60% people is not finishing the payment. So it means that only 40% people send the money to us. And is there any way that we edit the data on Adobe? Because, as you know, if we do not edit, then the data is not correct because some percentage of people is not sending the money. So how do you see about the condition of Indian market?
So what I think, I think Suzuki-san said it very, very well earlier. Let the data tell you what's happening. So the data will start to identify and figure out some of the key trends and attributes that these people that pay through that payment method tend to have. and the people that follow through, and the people that don't follow through. So you can then optimize your media spend and your marketing budget on those people that you know will actually pay you. Does that answer your question? No?
No.
So let me give you an example. 15 US ran this campaign, and what they tried to understand was there are two kinds of people who reserve cars and actually pick up cars after their trip, and the people who reserve cars but never pick up the cars. It's kind of like a similar experience. And through analytics, what they did was their campaigns were only targeted at people who they thought would actually pick up the cars, versus people who they know will not pick up the cars. So when I'm spending money to get people, I'll only get people who will actually buy and pay.
Was your question, how do I predict who will actually pay us?
No, actually, in the Adobe system, you saw the ROI number at 20% and then how much the money that the company get, right?
Yeah.
And then in Indonesia, we have bank transfer payment method. Which means for example, from 100 customer, only 40% pay.
Yeah.
So actual money is not as big as in Adobe system.
Yes. Yes.
So my question is there any way as a e-commerce company to edit the number of revenue so the data is same
Yes.
between the actual on the
So one of the nice things about that tool is you can have different conversion metrics that you're optimizing for. So if you want to optimize for people that are only doing this, you can optimize the spend based upon that segment. We had a very similar question from one of our customers in Thailand that said you had a very similar problem. So you can
I think you're talking about payment gateway, right? And if you customer purchase whatever the product on your website, the transaction actually goes to the banking system, and when they come back, it doesn't have the information of the transaction. Is that what you're talking about?
Like a manual transfer.
Right.
So my question is
We have a similar payment gateway within Rakuten. What we do is we work with the banking system. So we send out the piece of information there, and they send us back when the transaction completes the piece of information, so that we can capture the amount of money which is being transacted. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, but Indonesian bank is not has the technology.
I've heard the same thing last week. You don't know when it goes through.
Yes,
Sometimes
yes,
it takes 2 weeks. Sometimes it doesn't come through at all. So yeah.
It's not real time.
Yeah. So
Because
that, I think
people have to actually go into the ATM to pay. So there's it's not like you go into the computer and put the data.
Right,
and
it's
then
not pulling out of
yeah,
your account.
you have to walk like 100, 200 meters paying. And sometimes between that you say that, okay, maybe I'm not paying. So we have like loss of data.
yeah.
between
So
each
I
transaction.
think what Aman and I were trying to say is what we would suggest is that you identify who those people are who might not pay or who you won't know if they'll pay, so that you can figure out how to properly communicate with them and give a different experience. So if you have people that you know will pay and they might be more high value, you can then give them different messaging. So understand that's a segment, but just identify that and be able to work specifically for that.
Or maybe you can develop apps, and wherever the person is nearby ATM, you have a push notification saying you have
Yeah, okay. About the example is one day in your job, right? In reality, sometimes it takes like 2 hours for the team to act on something. It's kind of like, okay, I have this data and act on it. You have to let's say creative team. You have to let's say creative team. You have to write down. It takes a lot of time, and between each department, it's not happening in minute, right? You get the data in the morning, and then you can complete the action. Let's say on the evening. So it's already too late So in reality,
That's
is
a
it
really good point.
really
So
happening in
that,
one day or
what
like
you're
a
talking
day,
about
3
is
day,
how
1
most
week?
companies have to. That's a really good point. So what you're talking about is how most companies have to operate because they don't have the process or the people that are eager to do things quickly. So one of the things that Adobe tried to do with the Marketing Cloud was create a environment where you were able to make it easier to do things faster. So what Iman was showing you is he was just sharing things in the cloud. You're not having, the email problem. You're not having the different people problem. You can also send alerts. So if there's something really, really important that happens, like there's a huge drop in conversions, there's a major spike in traffic, you can send SMS, you can send alerts. So somebody's able to know when something's very urgent and to act on it. So you're right. It's a lot of times it takes a long time to get approvals and workflows. But if you can make that system easier and automate it through one central system, it's going to solve a lot of the challenges.
In technical terms, you also need to put some kind of tracking code. Has to be done automatically or?
Yeah, I mean, every time you create a new page, it's already included.
So yeah.
Do you want to show the click video before we go?
Oh, yes. Any last questions? Some of you may have seen this, but we'll end on a note. Okay, go back a little bit. Are they getting over here?
Second one.
Input, maybe?
Yeah.
Text? I have it on my computer, man.
Oh, that's okay. Thank you. Thanks for us.